recording session now. Bueno, Andres, so today we're going to start our week number 7. So we are about to finish this level, no? How are you doing with checkpoints and activities? More or less, in what week are you going?
More or less, teacher, in this moment, I don't have eh, too much time, too many time,
Too much time.
um, too much time. So I boy.
Okay, otherwise you're going to have 2 weeks, I mean this week and the other week to complete at least the 90% of the level. So more or less until the week number 7 complete, more or less. This week and the other week, okay? Because in 2 weeks, we're going to start with the advanced level, okay? Right?
Okay, teacher.
Mm. But anyway, you text me, teacher, I am completing the week number 6, or if you need something, you can text me, okay? No problem, right? Bueno, my dear, so we're going to start with the week number 7, and our first class of the week number 7 is going to start with a very simple question. How do you feel regarding your intellectual skills? Do you know what is the meaning of regarding?
I don't remember in this
Okay.
moment.
It means con respecto a, right?
Okay.
So con respecto. So when I say how do you feel regarding your intellectual skills, it's like how do you feel with your intellectual skills? Like, do you feel intelligent or not? Do you feel very intelligent? Do you feel a good reader? Do you feel good for talking? Well, I don't know. How do you feel regarding your intellectual skills?
Teacher, I am feeling very good with my intellectual skills.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there are many kinds of intellectual skills. For example, the tests of the mm, mm, quick think fast,
Okay, fast thinking.
uh, fast thinking
Uh-huh.
is not very easy for me. I don't like the fast question,
Okay.
but in other skills, I feel very well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, of course, we have different kinds of skills depending, for example, different kind of intelligence, no? If it's visual
Yes.
intelligence, mathematical intelligence, spatial intelligence, when all of that, right? So if I ask you, for example, with the numbers, problems with the numbers or all fine with the numbers?
I like I really like the numbers
Okay, very good.
because
Well,
the numbers uh, the the numbers don't lie.
yeah, good. They are exact, no? They are what
Yes,
they
yes,
are. Exactly, good.
yes.
Okay, what about with the language, with the languages, with Spanish, with English?
Mm, I don't have too much memory, but I try.
Okay, very good. Well, my next question was about the memory because the memory is important for a lot of other aspects, not only for languages, but for example, in taxonomy, in biology, it's important the memory, right?
Yes.
So how do you do in that case?
um, in memory of
Yes.
my profession is easy because there are things that I uh, uh, mm, how do you say repetir?
Repeat.
Bueno, uh, I was I did repeat
I repeat it.
many times. I repeated many times,
Okay.
but
Mhm.
in other profession uh, sería difícil.
In other
It's
topics, no?
difficult.
In other
In other
topics.
topics,
Yes,
the
good.
memory in other topics is
Yeah,
more complex for me.
exactly. When I was in school, I was very good for the vocabulary. My memory for the language. It's perfect. It's great. I remember the vocabulary easily. But well, I used to study in a technical school, and I was a technician from electricity and electronics. And I used to remember, for example, the laws, la ley de ohmios, la ley de voltios, so on and so on. And the formulas, good. I remember the formulas. But when I was about to analyze a problem, it was like, no, I cannot analyze the circuit. The circuits, for example, for me were very difficult because they were not memory, they were creativity, no? So critical thinking. And it was a different part, and I was completely confused. But my memory is good. I have good memory, right? But yeah, there are different kinds of skills, no? Intellectual skills.
Yes, teacher. For example, in my case, I have always been good at
S- Spelling,
spelling, yes,
good. Uh-huh.
but no vocabulary.
And your pronunciation is also good, but the vocabulary is like, no, teacher, I forgot this word, right? Yeah, but yeah. What about chemistry? Physics and chemistry. Are you good or not good?
Uh, More or less. In chemistry, good, very good, but physical
Physics,
uh, physics, more or less, because there are exercise that are many. How do you say? Es que no encuentro la palabra. Son
complex.
como no, como ambiguos, como
Okay, yeah, very good. Well, you could say ambiguous is the pronunciation, or simplemente difficult
ambiguous.
to understand. Yeah,
Yes,
but
there
that's
are
it.
exercise very difficult for
Uh-huh.
me
Yes,
because uh, uh, I was environmental engineer.
that's why I'm
I am
asking.
environmental engineer. Yes,
Yeah, of course. So, for example, the basic physics is all right, like, like the Newton's laws and those things. But for example, if we start
yes,
talking about fluids and those things,
yes, yes.
that's a different story. Muy bien, Andre. Very good. Well, I'm going to confess that I have two confessions to make here, and it's these two. Something that I love is when I understand a difficult topic. That is something that it makes me proud. Something that I love is when I understand a difficult topic. But at the same time, something that makes me furious is when I don't get good grades. If I don't pass or I don't have good grades, makes me furious. That situation makes me furious, right? What about you? What is something that you love and what is something that makes you furious in terms of the academy, right? In terms of intellectual life.
Uh, Teacher, something that I love is when I uh, learn a new topic for me. For example,
Mhm. For example,
uh,
second conditional. So you learn it and then you get like, oh my God, you feel great.
yes,
Mhm.
uh, makes me frustrated
Also.
when I don't understand very well uh, a topic or a person.
Okay. But you could say something or someone, right? So a topic of a person or a subject or anything, right?
Yes,
Okay, very good. Excellent. So in this case, what we're doing is just expressing our feelings regarding something. That was the question here, no? So how do you feel regarding da? So in that case, that's what we're doing here. We're expressing our feelings. In that case, a good feeling, something that I love. And in this case, a bad feeling, something that I don't like, or it makes me furious, or in your case, it makes me frustrated. When and then on a specific topic related to the academic life, right? So also, I could say, for example, that something that is difficult for me. No, let's say one thing. Let's change it a little bit. One thing which is difficult for me, difficult for. me, comma, are exercises or problems. Bueno, exercises. Wait, oh my God, I forgot how to spell the exercise. Exercises which are ambiguous. No, that was basically what you said, which I completely agree with. So one thing which is difficult for me are exercises which are ambiguous, right? And one more time, what I am doing here is expressing my feelings towards or regarding something, which in this case, regarding, it means con respecto a, ready, regarding, or we have the expression towards. Do you know what is the meaning of towards?
No, teacher.
Hacia. So in that case, we have con respecto a y hacia that. In some cases is the same con respecto a, and the other one is hacia, which in this case, well, it's a synonym, no? So I am expressing my feelings regarding the intellectual life or towards the intellectual skills, right? So that's the thing. What is something or one thing that is difficult for you?
Teacher, one thing which is difficult for me uh, is reading a science magazine.
Okay, very good.
The magazine Science.
But the science
Uh,
magazines.
yes,
Uh-huh.
I would like to can read this magazine
Uh-huh.
in the
But
future,
in
and
English.
in English, yes,
Mm.
obviously. Is one of the reasons why I am studying English.
Oh, that's good. And the structures are good, but the problem is the vocabulary. In that case, the vocabulary is super advanced. It's very technical.
Yes, and the topics are very interesting for me.
I think that you can read it as long as you have a dictionary next to you, because the structure is clear, but the problem is that in this world, what is that? Even for me, I would say
Yes.
that it's difficult because it's very technical. That's the thing. Okay, very good. And well, so what I wanted to show you here is that what we're doing in order to describe this kind of feelings, right, is that we're using relative clauses, right? And in this case, we're using relative clauses as connectors, of course, but also as try to introduce or change a little bit the perspective of the sentence, no? So because in that case, I'm talking about a thing, then I'm talking about a moment, so when we combine these relative clauses, we're going to use two relative clauses in one sentence. What we do is to try to mix, create a complex situation or a complex sentence in which we talk about a moment and a person, or a person and an object, or a moment and another moment. So in that case, the idea is that we can create these kind of sentences, right, using two relative clauses, yes, which and which, or that and when, or what and when, in which we are going to mix two different like subjects. No, could be a moment and a person, or a person and an object, or something like that. Let's see how can we do that. Well, let me just open here the sentence. Well, of course, we're going to be talking about our emotions. If we are sad, if we are happy, if we are excited, if we are blah blah blah, right? The idea is that when we talk about those relative clauses, we are going to introduce it maybe at the beginning and then in the middle, or maybe like just after the beginning and then in the middle, right? In order, as I told you, to make a combination between two different aspects. Can be a person or can be an object and then a place, or a place and a moment, and so on, right? For example, pardon, let's change the color. What I don't like are places where I can sleep well. No, say it's an example, right? Kind of strange, but it's an example. So what I don't like are places where, what I don't like is places where, in that case, it's are because it's plural, no? But what I don't like is a place where I can't sleep well. Yeah, so it could be is or are, depending if it's plural or singular, right? And in that case, I start with the relative clause, which is similar to what I said here. What makes me furious is when, second one, right? So in that case, what makes me furious? Lo que me enfurece, right? So what makes me furious is when, blah, blah, blah. Normally, when I start with a relative clause, that's the relative clause what for describing lo que, blah, 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 right? And then we have the order, depending if it's a person, who, and a place, where, and so on, right? In the second one, that's the most common one, ready? I am going to start directly with my opinion. I'm going to say, for example, that I enjoy, sorry, I enjoy places, right? Of course, one more time, if I'm talking about places, I'm going to use where. I enjoy places where I can meet new cultures. Wait, sorry, cultures, right? And then I am going to introduce another information, but of the culture. So I enjoy places where I can meet new cultures, which are typical of the place. Oh, sorry, which are origin, right? Or which are indigenous, for example, no? So also it's a good idea. Indigenous, right? Who are indigenous? The places? No. No. The cultures are the ones that are indigenous. So in this case, for example, what I'm trying to do, and also in this case, it's like creating like a chain of descriptions, no? So I am describing that I don't like places, and then this is connected to the places, and then I can connect more. Or for example, here, where it's connected to places, which is connected to culture, it's like introducing another one and another one and another one and another one in order to complete or complement the information that I want to give. Ready? How do you feel? More or less, más o menos, kind of?
Yes, teacher, it's clear for me.
Very good. I can use any of the relative clauses here. If it's an object, for example, the cultures, which, right? If it's a place, where, that's it. But if I say, for example, let's see, let's change it. Okay. I am someone, I am someone, of course, if I am talking about a person, I am someone
Who?
who, exactly, who is not kind with people. What do you think with people?
Which?
Could be, but in that case, well, let's say also who, yes, because it's
Who?
people,
Ah, okay.
right? Yes. So I am someone who is not kind with people who are hypocritical, for example. Yes. So who describing people, who describing myself, right? But it's a coincidence because in this case, in both cases, I'm talking about people. But it could be who and where and which and which, who and who, where and where, so on, so on. Ready? Questions, my dear,
Yes, teacher.
difficulties?
No, teacher.
No, all good. Ready, very good. Well, in this part, that's the structure, which is kind of simple because, of course, we have seen it before. But that structure is going to be accompanied with a very big variety of vocabulary, right? We're going to have here some vocabulary words in terms of adjectives, characteristics, opinions, and nouns, names, yes, with which we use it for determine an object, no? Or in this case, a feeling. Infuriate, like enfurece, like, sorry, this is not a noun, but it's a verb, it's an action, sorry. It is an action, right? So, which is going to describe it's like, yeah, an action that I have, in this case, related to feelings. Infuriate, like enfurecerse, confuse, confundir, baffle, confundir also, not like relax, relajar, right? Motivate, discourage, desmotivar, right? Fascinate, and offend, right? It's similar, but not the same as the adjective of the word. Infuriating, right? Enfurecedor, right? Confusing, confuso, no confundir, confuso. Baffling, the same, confuso, right? Relaxing, relajante, Yes, motivating, motivante, right? And remembering that when we have adjective, also there is a possibility that it's going to be with ed. For example, infuriated. For example, confused. For example, baffled. Baffled. Right. Baffled, right? For example, relaxed. Yes, and so on, so on. In that case, also they are talking about adjectives, but when we use ed, it's because we're talking about my feeling, no? So, for example, if I say that it infuriates me when I take a taxi, which is not fast, which is not fast, right? Well, so of course I'm talking when and which for complementing the whole idea, ready? But I'm saying that it infuriates me, o sea, me enfurece, it infuriates me when I take a taxi, which is not fast, ready? Infuriates is the noun, the verb, sorry, the verb form of the word. But I can say, for example, it is infuriating for me when I take a taxi, which is not fast. Infuriating, yes, opinion. And I can also say, I feel infuriated when I take a taxi, which is not fast. So all of this vocabulary is going to have the three different forms: the adjective for the feelings, the adjective for the opinions, and the verb, which is the action that we're going to do. Enfurecer, confundir, confundir, relajar, motivar, desmotivar, fascinar, y ofender, right? Adri, how do you feel there?
More or less, teacher.
We're going to make some examples, don't worry. In this case, this is only some options that we have for talking about feelings or opinions a little bit more advanced. Because if I say, for example, well, what is your opinion or what is your feeling? How do you feel regarding your intellectual skills? You can tell me, fine, that's it. Ah, bueno, oh, good, no more, fine, good, no more. Or you could say, no, like worried. Bueno, ok, está bien, un poquito mejor, pero still basic. But what about if I say, how do you feel regarding your intellectual skills? And then you tell me like, you know what, teacher, I feel, wait, I feel, or it makes me anxious or frustrated when I see a topic which I can understand. Which I can understand. Right? So, okay, well, first I have two relative pronouns, when and which, because it's a lot of information, right? And second, for example, here where you're using the adjective anxious, no? So a little bit more advanced than simply using, see, fine, or good, and that's it. No, we're going to use more advanced vocabulary, and this is what we're pretending to do here. Yes? Infuriating, infuriate, or infuriated, confusing, confused, and confused, baffled, baffling, and baffled, relax, relaxing, and relaxed, motivate, motivating, and motivated, and so on, so on. Discourage, discouraging, discouraged, fascinate, fascinating, and fascinate, offend, offensive, and offended, right? In order to describe the different possibilities, right? Remember, this is a verb. So when I use, for example, this form of the verb, I am not going to use anything else. No son nada más, just that, and that's it. But these two, yes, these two are adjectives. So they are going to be normally accompanied with a verb. Normally, for example, the ones that are with ing are accompanied with verb in ing, verb to be, sorry, which is like, for example, for me, it is infuriating when I take a taxi, which is not fast. It is infuriating, right? Also here can be used verb to be for infuriated, but there I can have other verbs, like for example, the verb get, like for example, the verb feel, of course, for example, the verb be, was another possibility, right? I feel infuriated, I am infuriated, I get confused, I feel confused, I feel baffled, I feel relaxed, right? So you're going to have the possibility to use any of the three options depending what you want to express. Hmm? A little bit better, poquito mejor.
Yes, teacher.
For example, what do you think that this man is feeling? How is he feeling?
This man is infuriated.
Very certainly that he is infuriated, right? Why do you think that he is infuriated? What do you think is the reason that he is infuriated?
Maybe he's infuriated when uh, he arrived restaurant
It's a possibility.
which is very uh, delighted with uh,
Mm,
food.
with the service, yes, exactly. Good, very good. So he's a person who feels infuriated in slow restaurants, for example, right? In slow restaurants. So what we have here, it's like, yeah, okay, the adjective of the feeling, no? So he is, or to be, he feels inferior, also a possibility, no? It's a person who, relative clause number one, who feels infuriated in slow restaurants where, for example, we can complement it, no? So it's a person who feels infuriated in slow restaurants where, okay, where the food is not good. Right? So one more time, we use the relative pronoun over here. Yes? What do you think, Andrea? A little bit better? Un poquito mejor?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Excellent, excellent. Wait. It's good. When I use the verb given, but it's the verb to be, as I told you, or the verb get, or the verb feel. But here, it's going to be directly the verb. So normally we said, it baffles me, or it baffles on the subject, yes. It relaxes me, or it relaxes her, or whatever, yeah. Fascinating. So in this case, this is going to like occupy the position of the subject, o sea, right after the subject. Sorry, the position of the verb, right after the subject, right? So subject and then the verb. Sometimes it's necessary for using the object like me, for example, for saying, it relaxes me, me relaja a quién, a mí. It motivates me, me motiva a quién, a mí, right? It infuriates me, me enfurece a quién, to me, right? So in that case, it's going to be it's going to be a what? It's going to be important to include sometimes the object pronoun after the verb. Ready? Questions might there over here? Oh, it's all right.
It's all right, teacher. For example, I can say it motivated me reading when I read the topic which is interesting for me.
Excellent, very good. So it motivates me when I read a topic which is interesting for me. The which, of course, because you are just talking about a topic. So that's why you use which. Ready? Excellent, Ana. Muy bien. Exactly así es la cosa. ¿Listo? Any other question over there so far?
No, teacher.
Easy, very good. Bueno, so taking into account a little bit more about your personality, I know that you are super serious, right? I would like to, right, let's read some examples first, and then we create some examples later. Ready? Help me to read the first example.
The thing that is more infuriating for me is people who are unpunctual.
Mm. And
I
for you,
agree.
for you too, I know. Yes, exactly. So in that case, the thing that is more infuriating, I am using infuriating, not infuriated, because I'm not talking about my feeling, but my opinion. So the thing that it's more infuriating for me, it's people who are unpunctual. Or
Infuriating.
mhm,
Teacher again.
infuriating,
Infuriating. Infuriating.
infuriating, right?
Infuriating.
Exactly like that, infuriate. Ready? If I would like to use the other possibility, for example, infuriated, I would have to change the first part, right? So instead of saying the thing that it's more infuriating for me, I would say, I really get infuriated. Ready? So with people who are on punch.
Teacher, why get?
But when I say get and a very in past participle, it's usually a feeling or a state, and then when you say like
Okay.
me
Es
pongo.
como uno ganarse un sentimiento, como
Sí, exactamente,
obtuve, sí,
exacto.
algo así.
Lo que traduciría en español como me pongo, básicamente. ¿Ready?
Ya.
Ponerse, ta, ta, ta. O incluso pues hay algunas traducciones que no usan poner, sino simplemente me y el verbo, ¿sí? Entonces, me enfurezco. O
En español
también,
sería como me gané una rabia.
básicamente, exactamente la idea. ¿Ready? Sí, literalmente sería como me gané una furia, pero pues sí, básicamente es como me enfurezco o me enfurece. O
Ok.
también algunas otras opciones, por ejemplo, como por ejemplo, get sick. What is the meaning of get sick?
Pues que una gripa
Get
o
sick,
algo así, una enfermedad.
exacto, ¿verdad? Pero cuando digo no, parce, me qué.
Ah, un golpe.
No,
No,
digamos cualquier enfermedad está bien, pero cuando tú dices, bueno, ¿y qué le pasó? No, pues fue que me enfermé.
contagié. Sí.
O contagié o something like that. Entonces, hay verbos que no existen en inglés y lo que hago es usar el get más el adjetivo para poder crear ese verbo, ¿cierto?
Ah, ok,
Por
ok.
ejemplo, we have hire es el verbo contratar, ¿cierto? But if I say I get hired, entonces se volvería ya verbo, ya no sería contratado o contratar, sino sí, me contrataron, ¿no? So, in that case, that's it. ¿Mm? O get fired, or well, something like that. For example, stressed es el adjetivo estresado. So when I say I get stressed, what do you mean?
Me estresé.
Bueno, me estreso, ¿no? Porque en
O
ese caso es
me
get,
estreso.
exactly,
Ujú.
get stressed. Yes. Si fuera I got stressed, obviamente el verbo lo va a llevar, el peso semántico lo va a llevar el get, o sea, got. I got stressed, ahí sería me estresé, ¿no? So, that case. Pero como estás en presente, pues normal, me estreso. ¿Listo? Muy bien, very good.
Ok, teacher.
Bueno, number two. What is more relaxing for me, or what is relaxing for me is music, which is totally instrumental. Normally, when we start with a relative clause, it's what, and what is it, what is more, what is there, what is blah, 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 and then we continue, right? And then the other one, yes, which is totally instrumental. Easy, very good. Or one more time, another example of the others. Andrea, could you please read the example? Example number three.
The people who are not honest are people who you can trust in.
Mhm. So the people who are not honest are people who you can trust in. So in both cases is who because it's people. Profe, ¿si pueden dos seguidas de la misma? Sí, no problem. It depends on the object or the subject before it. Yes, so no problem. And the last one, the traffic is something that I hate when I am in a rush. The traffic is something that I hate when I am in a rush.
Teacher, what is rush?
Rush, it's like una prisa. Ready? So
Ah, ok.
when I say rush. Y está rush hour, which is hora pico. O sea, como la hora donde todo el mundo tiene prisa, ¿no? So, rush hour. ¿Ok? Pero rush como tal solito es como una prisa, sí, un afán. ¿Ready?
Ok.
¿Mm? Muy bien, very good. So in that case, again, I have that the traffic is something that I hate when I am in a rush. So both relative clauses. Ready? ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Mejor? ¿Peor? Sorry, yes, good, more or less.
Teacher, the relative clauses of the fear sentences is
The
that
thing
and
that,
who. Ah, okay.
exactly. The thing that is more important for me are people who are unpunctual. That's it, right?
Okay, teacher.
Muy bien, very good. So that's expressing our feelings, no? So, well, we already talked about the academical life, no? I would like to know what's your feeling or how do you feel towards your social life? We are very serious people. So the feelings towards our social life must be complicated, no? For example, I don't like to be with people who are very noisy, social life, no? So, or for example, I prefer to socialize at night when the people is more relaxed. Yes. So, what about you, my dear? How do you feel regarding your social life? And
Teacher, I feel relaxed when I am in a place which is very quiet.
very good. So, I feel very relaxed when I am, you are describing the moment, when I am in a place where it's very quiet. Oh, pardon, which is very quiet. So you are describing the place. Good, excellent. That is exactly the thing that I want to do. It's connecting, no? Connecting the things. Maybe very good. Any other comment about your social life?
Mm, the thing that is more uh, discouraging for me,
Discouraging.
discouraging
Mhm.
for me is people who is very mm, um, I liar.
Very good. Yes. So the thing that it's more discouraging for me are people who are not completely honest, no? If you want. This the idea is that you can express these ideas paraphrasing, ¿no? So if you cannot do it in one way, you can do it on the other. Si no encuentras una forma, hacerlo de la forma opuesta o algo así, en caso de que se te olviden las palabras, que es algo que te pasa. Entonces, si te olvidan la palabra, trata de buscar de pronto la forma opuesta si la sabes hacer y pues puedes construir la idea de la manera contraria, ¿vale? En caso tal, pues que de pronto me diga, no se me olvidó la palabra o something like that, right?
Yes, teacher.
¿Listo? Bueno, André, muy bien, excellent. So, well, that's basically in terms of your social life. But now I would like to ask you a couple of questions in this case. Well, we have four pictures. Now, in this case, we have thieves or criminals, right? We have here politicians. The next weekend, there are the elections, you know? And over here, we have the gossiping, gossip, that is the action. And here we have the traffic, right? So how do you feel regarding these things? Imagine which topics do you want to comment about and tell me how do you feel regarding these things. For example, you said, teacher, I want to comment about gossiping. No? So, and I want to say that I love when I know a person, when I know a person who is very gossipy, que es muy chismosita, me gusta, right? So I I I know bueno, I love it when I know a person who is very gossipy in one case, no? So using the double relative clause, right? Or about the traffic, or about the politicians, or about the thieves. What is your opinion about one of these topics? Choose two and tell me what do you feel about.
Uh, Teacher, I I think that is uh, relaxing when I am in the street. It's the same of carretera.
Ah, when in the road.
In the road. When I
Mhm.
am in the road, uh, which don't have a traffic.
Of course, very good. So it is very relaxing when I am in a road which there is no, well, you could say where, más bien, para no decir la cual,
Where?
sino donde, where there is no traffic, ¿no? Donde no hay tráfico, where there is no traffic. Okay, muy bien, very good, excellent. Anything else?
Mm, I hate when the politicians uh, are the politician are mm, many noise. Mm,
When the
cuando ellos hacen
politicians,
mucho ruido,
okay, you could say both, are very noisy
are very noisy,
or make a lot of noise.
are very noisy. Mm, uh, when uh, it's time of the uh,
Elections.
votation elections. Yes.
Yeah, I hate it too. This week, and the last week.
Yes.
My God, I hate them. Because they and on Sunday when the people are resting, my God, no, that
Ay,
should be
it's horrible.
illegal. Yes, it should be illegal. I consider that it should be illegal, right?
Yes.
Bueno, my dear Andre, very good. Yes, so in that case, that's the way that you do it, right? So what we do here is simply describing like, okay, I feel this way about this thing, which blah blah blah, or who ta ta ta, or when ta ta. And the idea is that you can understand that you can connect them, no? So you can connect these kind of relative clauses in order to create a bigger, more complete sentence, okay? So it's important for you to practice these kind of sentences because they are not so common, but they are very useful, right? So if you don't know them, probably you're going to have some problems, but if you know them, even if it's not that common to know them, it's going to be very useful and it can help you with like expressing better your ideas. Okay, Andre?
Yes, teacher, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
This structure with but relative clause I can use in all tenses
Yes.
or what?
You can use it in all tenses, depending on, well, mostly they are in the same tense. If one is in past, the other ones are normally in past too. But it can happen that you can have different sentences, no? So different tenses, but normally they are in the same. For example, I used to hate when I took a Transmilenio, which was, oh, sorry, which was, no, let's change it to see to show you. But in this case, both are in past, but yeah, I can change it. For example, I used to hate when I took Transmilenio, which still, changos aquí, which still is the most crowded transportation, no? So in that case, the most crowded. But in that case, one, it's in past, took, the other one it's with is, in present, right? So I can mix it. Normally, they are both in past or both in future, no problem. But even sometimes they can be combined. Ready? So it's important for you. Questions, Ante? Yes, good.
Yes, teacher. Teacher, other thing is when the both parts of the sentence is, for example, about the person. The second part, I can omit the subject or not.
Yes, you can. But normally, in this case, it's not going to happen because in this case, we are describing that my feeling is that I hate it or I something like that. And then the second part, it's about a situation or it's about a person different from the
Okay.
beginning. So
Okay.
almost
Okay.
it's not common to happen. But if it happens, yes, it can happen that way, right?
That is the difference of the other parts of course of
Yes,
the course.
exactly. Yeah, in the
Okay.
previous one, it was like only one connection, one sentence and the other, but in this case, it creates such a long chain, una cadena tan larga, that at the end, it's a different subject, different from the first, right?
Okay,
Right.
teacher. I understand.
Listo, my dear. So this is going to appear in the check. Well, actually, this is going to appear from here in front, from here on, because you have to introduce these kind of sentences as many times as you can. They are going to help you a lot to introduce a lot of details in an easy way. So try to understand, try to include these kind of sentences more. Okay, Andre? Ready?
Okay, teacher.
Mhm. Bueno, my dear Andres, so for today it was a short class. The vocabulary was easy because it's like repetitive, but it's important that you force it into your daily vocabulary. Okay? Right.
Okay, teacher.
Bueno, my dear, so
Very good.
see you not tomorrow, no, on Thursday. On Thursday?
Thursday. Yes, teacher.
See you on Thursday at 8 and have a good week. Enjoy your 3 days and see you on 2 days, right? In
The
2 nights.
same for you, teacher. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Sleep tight, okay?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
Thanks. See
Goodbye.
you. Bye.